stream there on YouTube, and we'll do the same thing on our Facebook page as well this morning to connect with Sherry live here in the studio. So we're just waiting for that connection. And there we go. Sherry, let's introduce you first. Sherry is a educator here in Michigan, and we appreciate her being here. Sherry, you drove up from Fremont today.
Yes.
A teacher in the White Cloud Public School System there. What do you teach? Take us through that.
I teach 8th grade Earth Science and then 6th and 7th grade STEM.
Okay, very cool. And the Eclipse that is coming up on Monday, this has to be pretty exciting for you as an educator, science, for your students. Take us through kind of how geeked are you about this?
Oh, I am so geeked. I love astronomy. It's one of my major big things. Okay. And so I've been planning this whole district-wide event since September.
Okay. This is good. All right. We'll break that down in a minute. Okay. Janelle is here as well. Been here all morning long, and we appreciate her back in the studio here with us. And I would assume as a mom, Janelle, you're talking with your kids about this. What's been the conversations like when you've been talking with your kiddos?
Basically, just don't look at the sun.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, my 6-year-old, don't look at the sun. She was pretty bummed that she's not going to have outdoor recess in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. But then my older daughter, that's in junior high, she was talking about how they are going to have glasses that they can look at it. Okay. So it's going to be kind of their teaching time for the kids.
And that brings up a lot. First of all, the safety factor when it comes to glasses and looking at the sun. Also, as an educator there at White Cloud Public Schools, I would assume that there is some sort of safety measures or safety conversation that's happening out there that a lot of the other schools are. It's not like, hey, we're going out on recess, everybody look up, right?
Right. So what you have to do is you have to have ISO certified solar viewers, and they can be a pair of like cardboard glasses or a card with I don't know what it's called, the filter, the solar filter in it.
Yep.
So usually that blocks out 99.9% of the sun. So it's incredibly safe. But if you look through them, it's just like looking in a cave with the lights out. There's no light comes through it at all. You can look at a light in your house and you can't see anything. So the conversation, of course, is like keep them safe. So don't cut them, scratch them, or anything like that where you're going to look through them.
Okay.
And then also to make sure that you have them on when you're looking at the sun. Mm-hmm. So you cannot walk with them on because they black out 99.9% of the light, so you can't see anything. It's like being in a cave. So it's really important for people to understand that, yes, you can go outside when there's a solar eclipse. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not going to hurt anything. You just don't want to stare at the sun because it'll cause damage to your retina.
Absolutely. You brought a pair of the glasses. Can I'm going to put this up to the camera, like if the camera, if the viewers were looking through this, and let me switch it over to my camera. Okay. And this is how dark, let's see, right there. And I know we got a reflection coming through, but you can see like there I am, and then I disappear because these are so dark, to the point where when we put them on, you're right. You there's no way you want to take one step forward because that's how dark they are, and I think that says a lot about not getting trapped with ordering knockoff sunglasses or using your own like personal pair of sunglasses. What's the measures that you would at least recommend for those that, because it's too late in most cases to order a pair of glasses from like Amazon and stuff like that, but can you you had mentioned cardboard. What do you do with the cardboard in this particular
So you
case?
can make a pinhole viewer, like it's kind of like a camera. So you take a cereal box and make a pinhole in it, just a little tiny hole, and then put some tinfoil on the other end of it. So you kind of have a way to like project the actual image of the sun.
Okay.
So another cool thing to do is if you go outside and you don't look at the sun, you can take like a colander and it will project on the ground the shadow of the eclipse. So all the little shadows will look like crescent shape, which would be really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How, if you had to, I mean, I know we've gone through eclipses, but how different is this versus other ones that we see throughout the year and such?
So this one is really huge because it goes from Mazatlan, Mexico, all the way through Maine and into Canada. So it's really big. The zone of totality is wider, and the length of totality is over 4 minutes in some places. Okay. So even in 2017, when I went out to Nebraska to see that eclipse, the time of totality was a little over 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it's double the time. So you get to see, like, it's really cool if you can go and travel to the zone of totality. It's really worth it because you watch the moon, like, come at you, sort of the shadow of the moon, and it kind of just overtakes. And 2017 was in the summertime, so the crickets and everything, all the night things came out and all the day things went to like roost. All the birds just flew away, and then it was like totally quiet for a minute, and then the crickets started to chirp at night like it was night.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It reminds me of like those flowers. Everything just
Yes, like, and like the flowers too were there. They just closed up for like that 2 minutes. It was just really cool.
Wow!
So it's a really awesome experience, and we aren't going to see that here. We're going to see about 90 to 95% of the sun eclipse. So it's still going to be bright, and our eyes don't usually discern a difference in the light until about 76% of the sun is eclipsed. So it'll be like 3/4 of the sun is covered by the moon's shadow.
Yep. Okay.
So.
All right. And how, as an educator, how excited are the students when you have these conversations with them? What questions are they asking about this?
Well, they know I ordered solar eclipse glasses for the whole district.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we've been talking about this. The countdown has been on my board.
Okay.
They all have jobs to do. So like the 8th graders are going to guide the elementary students. My STEM students, which are 6th and 7th graders, are going to hand out the eclipse glasses to everybody. So they all know exactly what they're going to do. And they're really geeked about it. They like can't wait. Even my struggling students are like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready for this.
That's just great. And even though it's going to be majority, the closest would be Ohio that we would have to drive to for the totality side of it. This is still going to be quite noticeable here, right?
Oh, yes. We're going to notice a dimming of the sunlight, but the sun is still going to be out. Mm-hmm. So we'll notice that. We will notice just the differences that we normally wouldn't see during an eclipse. But I just want to caution people, please do not look at the eclipse without proper eyewear. Yeah. And your sunglasses they only block out about 13% of the sun's light, so it's not enough. You need to block out 99.9.
Okay, very good information. And we had Brad Reed on just the other day, local photographer here, and we were talking about the technology side of it, and we want to emphasize that for the next couple moments too. And that is, let's say you have an iPhone, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Janelle takes her iPhone and she points it up at the sun. You're saying, do not do that.
Do not. You'll destroy your camera.
Wow.
So you have to use the solar filter. You can just take your glasses off and use your camera that way, but you need to filter the camera also. Otherwise, you're just going to burn the camera up.
Even if you let's say I take my pair of sunglasses. Nope. Still, you know where I was going at on that.
Yes, I do.
And it's crazy to think, something like that can burn up your camera. Imagine what that would do to your eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, you make permanent damage on the back of your retina.
Yeah.
And so like an eye doctor can actually see, if you do look at it, he'll see that crescent-shaped burn on the back of your retina.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Well, and part of the reason is we aren't staring at the sun for 2 minutes or 4 minutes on a daily basis. It just doesn't happen.
Yes.
And so even if it wasn't an eclipse, this is what we would want to avoid anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that we've missed talking about in regards to this from the science standpoint, from the excitement or entertainment standpoint of this, anything that really comes to mind that you like to have a conversation with your students?
I like people to understand that the sun, the earth, and the moon are in the perfect position to have a solar eclipse. There's no other planet that has eclipses at all. So that is also really cool. We're just at the perfect point. We're 400 times and 40 times the distance. And so we actually, it's just perfect. Mm-hmm. We don't see that in other planets, even from photography and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
And let's reiterate what you just said. We're 40 times from the Earth to the moon.
Well,
right?
Well, so the moon is. Let's see. Okay, so the moon and the sun are like 400 times difference in size.
Okay.
But because the moon is so much closer to us,
yes,
it has the potential to to block out most of it, as long as it's in the right position. So the moon isn't always perfectly the same. So a few years ago, there was an annular eclipse, which means that the moon blocks it out, but there's a ring of light around it because the moon is a little bit further away and sometimes it's a little closer.
And we'll see that. I think they call it the diamond ring or diamond.
Yes.
That's still in the totality. There's still going to be a little bit of that edge, right? Or is it?
It'll be in totality. It'll be totally blacked out.
Okay.
Totally blacked out.
All right. That's pretty cool.
And then, so you have to be careful though, because when you have to watch the timing of totality, because you want to make sure that you have your solar eclipse glasses back on when the diamond ring, because it's incredibly bright because you're looking at darkness, and then all of a sudden there's bright light.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah.
This is crazy. Questions you might have? Anything come to mind that's like? I mean, it's got to be fascinating a little bit.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, every 100 years that this happens, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, the 100-year side of it, the long span that Janelle had mentioned.
Yeah.
The reason behind that is just because we're talking about space, right? And
we're talking, well, I mean, there's several eclipses, usually a one or two a year, but always someplace else on the Earth. Okay. So for us, the next eclipse that goes across the United States is 2044 and then 2045.
Okay.
And so they're not nearly as large of an expanse of land.
Yeah.
So you have about 30 to 40 million people already in the path of totality, and then you have several million more going towards it. So it's really cool because I know that personally I have friends that are coming from other countries to come to see totality, and they're a little worried about the weather, but it's okay.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have some good weather for it.
Yeah.
So if somebody is, I don't know if you know this question, but the range. So we're here in West Michigan. Can somebody in in Key West, Florida, even though this is going through Ohio and so on and so forth, are they going to see some of this?
Yes, but it'll be much less eclipse. Okay. So I just got back from Arizona, where my son is stationed in the Air Force at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, and I took him just a few eclipse classes, and they'll see about like a 75%. Okay. And so he took him into his office because he's a bigwig.
Yeah.
But and he goes, somebody offered him $45 for. I'm like, no, you just share on the flight line. So it was really kind of funny. But yes, almost every place in the United States will see some part of the eclipse. It's just the closer you get to the line of totality, the more you see.
Yeah, and we're expecting our range to be our peak. I guess it would be at about 310, 311, I think is right there.
Yep.
Okay. But how early will we start seeing it though?
So we start seeing the eclipse, it starts about 1:55.
Okay.
And you'll just see a very little tiny bit of the moon start to cover, and it'll be the crescent shape will start to grow.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to watch that. And it's even cool if there's clouds like going over it, because you can kind of see what that looks like too. It's really cool.
Now, we had a story just the other day that said something like clouds could disappear. Does that make sense, or was that kind of a myth? Oh, we want to wave that.
No,
does that make sense?
It's true, because anytime you get cooling in the atmosphere, you get a little bit less condensation, so it takes heat.
Yep.
And so the clouds tend to dissipate when, like in the evening, there's less clouds. So it's the same kind of thing here, is that we may have a little bit less clouds and a little bit more sunshine.
Wow.
So I'm hoping.
I mean, can you, and I know this is going to sound crazy to say, but could it be like a poof effect, or is it like just a fade out effect? You know what I mean?
I love that. That's great. It may be kind of both. So it may be just like you're looking and there's clouds and then there's not.
Wow.
So they just evaporate like
a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Wow. Or a poof.
I'm sad that your younger daughter doesn't get to see it and that they're scared to take them. I think it's fine if people go outside for recess. And somebody was posting on Facebook, don't let your pets out. I'm like, oh my gosh, pets don't look at the sun anyway. It doesn't make a difference.
We talked about that this morning.
So silly.
Yeah.
It's like people are scared. It's like there's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah.
It's just, you just need to be safe. And even if you don't have solar eclipse glasses, go outside anyway and make like a shadow, even with your hands, and you can see the eclipse and the shape of it on the ground. It's just really cool.
That's very cool.
That's
cool.
This is pretty neat. As one educator, and you kind of hinted on that just a moment ago, from one educator to those that might still be on the edge of taking their classes out and such, and may not have the glasses. You explained that. But from an educational standpoint, what do you want students to take away from this? What do you think educators and that conversation is like, or you want it to be like?
I want it to be like to get people excited about looking at our natural world and see those phenomena that don't happen for us very often, but also the fact that it just wows kids to see something that they wouldn't normally see. Because the next one, they're going to be like, 30 or 40 years old when they see the next one, so that they could drive to. So I think it's really important for us to at least spark that interest in seeing what is out there.
Yeah, this is cool. This is very cool. I've exhausted my questions. I don't know if you have any additional questions.
I just think it's awesome the fact that we can make something such a reality. I mean, when I was in school, a lot of things were just by the book. You're reading about stuff, but then this is something you can actually experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, for kids, some people were canceling school. I think it's better that they're in school, that they can learn about it and whatnot, instead of just kind of sheltering.
Yeah, but that's still the same idea as to be those educators and say, okay, let's you have
learn
done
about it. Yeah.
Well, with White Cloud, you bought glasses for everybody,
Yes,
right? Wow.
district-wide.
Okay.
Yep. Wow. Staff and students.
Okay, so then everybody can take
Yes.
part in it. All right, this is really cool. Anything that we have missed talking about in regards to that? I know you could probably go all day long on the
I
subject.
could. Oh.
But what's anything else important that you want to get over to the listeners today?
I think it's really important that, first of all, you're safe, that you don't burn up your camera by taking pictures of it, and use a solar filter of some kind. But also, get out and see what's there. So, I know the Stephen F. Wesleyan Observatory in Fremont has 1,000. I know I bought them 1,000 solar eclipse glasses. So if you're willing to take the trek down to Fremont, do it.
That's cool. All right. That's good.
So,
yeah. This is, and the observatories. That's another part of that is that they're ready to for that education process for people to stop in and see that. That's pretty powerful.
Oh yeah, it's very cool, and it's really awesome to have people I know that they'll have because I'll be in school, but they'll have solar eclipse, solar telescopes that you can see through safely. And I have my telescope at school that I'm going to try to take out on the football field, which has a solar filter on it too.
Okay.
So it's really important that people take the opportunity while it's here to at least do something with it. Even if you go outside or make a pinhole camera, you can find those all over the internet. It's really cool. But if you're really excited about more information, go to Great American Eclipse.com.
Okay, very cool. All right, great website. We'll link that under the videos here on the website. Sherry, I can't express how grateful we are that you came up. You drove up from Fremont to the station today to help us experience this, educate us on this. And I think people are excited. I mean, you see a lot of stories out there, news stories and conversations, and I think people are ready to experience this. And I think that's a neat thing.
I know the news crews have been kind of posting stuff about it and talking about it too, and that is really helpful. It's powerful to get people's interest piqued in that. So I think it's really, really great.
Very important. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, Sherry, for being here.
Thank you for having me so much.
Absolutely. It's 9:42 now on 102.7.